he tried to elevate school lunches. It's really hard to pull off because you have so many components.
Yeah.
One, you said you have these nutritional guidelines where tomato paste counts as a vegetable.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of potatoes in school because, again, it's partly because it's a cheap veggie, kind of, sort of. And two, because you have the potato industry pushing for this. You have so many components fighting, and it's not for the kids.
Welcome to Dishin Up Diaspora, where we explore how culinary traditions connect us to culture, history, and each other. I'm your host, Chef Emme, and today's episode is sponsored by Chef Emme TV on Patreon, a space where I share exclusive content like recipes, cooking tips, and behind-the-scene moments you won't find anywhere else. It's a deeper look into my kitchen and creative process, and right now the membership is totally free. Head on over to patreon.com/chefemmetv and join for free today. Welcome back to those of you who have been tuning in, and welcome to any newbies. I would really appreciate that you subscribe wherever you are listening to, or if you're watching on YouTube, please help a girl out and subscribe. Your support and just honest feedback with any reviews really will help this podcast continue to grow. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at Dishin Up Diaspora Podcast and at Chef Emme _. I am so excited for today's guest. Tan Vinh is an award-winning food and drink writer at the Seattle Times and host of KUOW's podcast, Seattle Eats. A refugee from Vietnam who built his life and voice through journalism, Tan is known for his sharp, thoughtful storytelling, uncovering the people, places, and politics behind what we eat in Seattle and beyond. Tan, what an honor. Thank you for being here.
Thanks. The honor's all mine. You know what I mean? I've been following you, so I know your career, and this is quite an honor for me.
Thank you. Likewise. Before we get started, I have a little game. Hopefully you'll indulge.
Okay.
It's a fun game. It's called Quick Dish. I'm going to name two things, and you tell me which one speaks the most to you.
Okay.
No right or wrong. You can even pick both. Okay. Hidden gem or a hot new opening?
Hidden gem.
Writing a story or hosting a podcast?
Oh, hosting a podcast.
Yes!
Writing is hard.
Fine dining or street food?
Ooh, round robin. I'm very slow in round robin. I'm going to say street food.
Okay. Pho or ramen?
I'm going to surprise you. I'm Vietnamese, but I'm going to go with ramen.
Ramen. Early mornings or late nights?
Late nights.
Banh mi or cubano?
Ooh, I'm going with banh mi.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. That was it.
No, that's great. All right, yeah. It's funny because people would always assume that I will pick pho and banh mi. In this case, I do pick banh mi.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think the best sandwich, people assume, because I'm Vietnamese, they think I'll say banh mi. But I like a French, just like baguette with butter and ham.
Yes.
Yeah, just
that
3
sounds
ingredients.
So good. I love that.
Because I think American sandwiches, they're great. A lot of them are great. I mean, but it's supersized. It's overworked. It's like stacked. Like, all these promos with sandwiches are like a foot high.
Triple deckers.
Right.
Yeah.
How do people fit that in their mouth? I don't even know.
That's
right.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I'm like that weirdo that like I don't like a lot in my sandwich either.
Right.
I just thought it was like, 'cause I love the bread, the carb, but I'm like you. It's just like, when it's too much, it's just too much. Keep it simple.
Exactly. I'm down with it.
Yes.
We're going to be a better sandwich city, I believe.
I hope so.
Yeah. So I'd like to see more sandwich options.
Yes. Yes.
That's my most horrifying thing for me is when I hear the word supersize.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. It should be
very
simple.
American thing.
3 components.
Yes.
Bread, meat, and I don't know, maybe something creamy rich or something pickled for this come to the riches, and I'm good.
Yeah. Maybe you should open a sandwich place, Todd.
You should be my chef if I do.
Yes.
You're so accomplished.
You're
the one with the cooking chops.
Yes.
I just blab my mouth.
No. So I first saw you. You were hosting a podcast / like book reading with Hawa Hassan.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. Her story. Oh my gosh. She was supposed to be on the podcast. Didn't work out. Hopefully we'll get her again here soon. but her story is amazing. But you piqued my curiosity as well. You know, you mentioned a little bit about being a Vietnamese refugee to the U.S. I had Chef Tu here on the podcast recently, and he also was, well, I think he was actually born here, but his parents were Vietnamese refugees. So we talked a lot about that. So I wanted to learn a little bit about you and your move, like coming to America. How old were you?
I was 6 years old, Emmy. We moved to the Washington, D.C. area because of our sponsor. He had worked for the Pentagon. So he sponsored us. It was a Lutheran church that sponsored us. We ended up in D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. I think they call it the DMV. That's what the cool kids call it now, the DMV. So I grew up there. And my life, my food life has been pretty much, looking back, defined by me growing up in school or living off school cafeteria food. Because my parents both work. Well, you know this. It's a typical, very immigration experience, right? Mom worked 60, 80 hours a week. Dad worked, again, 40, 50 hours. So I was left home alone. And I couldn't tell the teacher that because they would call social service. But in my culture and a lot of Asian culture, when you're 6 and 7, you're still home alone. And that's very normal. I know this is bad when you're in the United States.
Same story.
So I learned how to, fend for myself, cook on my own. I think my trauma was the school lunch because one, kids can be cruel because I didn't know. I thought a banh mi was a very typical lunch and I get made fun of because my family made me banh mi's, which I love. But back then, I'm dating myself. It was not hip. So kids would see me in a cafeteria, bring my own lunch, and then with carrots sticking out because it's a pickle component. And they make friends like, ew, look at me, he's eating a carrot sandwich. Ha ha ha. And then like other kids would have like bento boxes. And then she would get made fun of. And one kid had kimchi and he got it worse because it smelled so bad. But I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Looking back, these are all hip lunches now, right? We would be so cool if I brought a banh mi to school. And the kid had a bento box, that would be hip. And kimchi, well, people will still get mad about the smell and the funk. But this is like, looking back, it's funny. We were the one who got it worse in terms of being made fun of for our school lunch. But it's pretty sophisticated these days, right? It's pretty hip. Banh mi, bento boxes, kimchi.
Like everybody's like, ooh, and I in your lunch for sure if you're bringing that.
And I had to. Because my sponsor, a Lutheran sponsor, the family made me bologna and Oscar Mayer bologna and American cheese sandwich and peanut butter and jelly sandwich. At first, I did not get that. I didn't, wait, why is this bread toast? And it took me a while to get used to. I mean, I ate it because, I mean, you can't be rude. But I didn't like that. And I understood even less American school lunches. Like taco, I kind of get it was okay. Spaghetti was kind of tangy, so I like that. But I didn't understand the concept. So what about you? You grew up in Brazil.
Right?
So, so take me. I'm going to interview you now. So you're in school in Seattle School District?
I was, when you came to the United States? I was in the SPS School District.
So lunchbox, or were you eating cafeteria food?
Cafeteria food, because my family, first of all, taking it back to Brazil, you go to either AM school or PM school. So lunch is like the most important meal of the day, and that's at home. And it's like a lot of food. It's a home cooked meal. It's a whole experience. So my parents didn't even really have the concept of what like lunch was, and they didn't have the money. They didn't have anything. So it's like, oh, they serve lunch at school. Great. Like, go to school, Emmy. And then I get there, and honestly, like you, my first trauma was school food. Like corn dog. What is this? Like all these like childhood classics, corn dogs, peanut butter and jelly, I still don't, I hate them till to this day. I could never, like my palate could never adjust. So, but like you, maybe like a taco or like a rice dish, I would be able to eat. The spaghetti, I'd be able to eat. Something that like resembled more home cooked meal was like what I would be able to eat. But honestly, like many days I would just go. I remember being on the school bus, going home, like raging headache, just hungry for my mom's home cooked meal at home. It was a terrible experience. Terrible experience.
Well, you have kids, right?
I do, yeah.
So do you make them lunch? They eat school cafeteria lunch?
So it's funny, like I, because of my trauma, would make them lunch, but now it's like cool, I think, sometimes to like eat they just kind of follow the trend of like whatever their peers are doing. So like, you know, when it was like cool to go through the line and punch in your numbers, they wanted to do the school cafeteria lunch. But then they got kind of tired of that because they were kind of coming home hungry. So like they're like now asking me to make food for them for lunch. So it's been a wave. Depends on the season.
So I'm very curious because I should be interviewing you because you're the one with the big resume. You were personal chef to Eddie Vedder, Jamal Crawford. You were a winning contestant on Chop on the Food Network.
Yeah.
But Emmy, what I'm most impressed by was that you were head of the school lunch program.
Yes.
What was your title with the South School
District? I was
District?
the district executive. Shoot, what was my title? District executive chef. And it was the first time ever that Seattle Public Schools had ever had that position. They've never had a chef.
I would say that you've had a lot of stressful career cooking.
Yeah.
You were a chef. Private chef can be demanding. Chop chef can be stressful. But I would say being head of the nutritional program, Seattle School District, would be the most stressful job. True?
Yeah.
True or false? Most challenging.
Most challenging being in like a corporate setting and dealing with like the back end stuff of things, rules and regulations, and just like personnel, like environment. That was the most challenging part of the job. It was the most amazing, creative, fulfilling job in terms of like me being able to like create the menus, like find ways around like all the rules and regulations that the federal government puts intact for like kids' meals at school. Right. That was fun. Yeah.
Really? I think that's crazy. And for our listeners who don't know what we're talking about, for example, pizza counts as a veggie under government guideline because it's a tomato paste. Yeah.
Yeah. So what all these like, because honestly, there's very few chefs that are head of school nutrition. It's mostly a dietitian. It's like a lot of dietitians, which that's totally fine. But I think that when it comes to making food taste good, you need to have a chef. You need to have somebody who knows how to cook food, you know? And I think like with all these guidelines, it's really serious, you know, like the department doesn't make money if they don't sell the food. And if it doesn't meet the requirement, like you can lose, you know, it's a whole serious thing. So I think the focus of that industry has been to just like meet the requirements and like nothing else. So a lot of like the companies that produce these foods, like they just worry about like putting into their big machine to create this like processed little square nugget that will meet all the guidelines, but like literally tastes like cardboard, and like the kids don't eat it, you know? So yes, you're like selling it, kids are going through, they're taking it, but they're not eating it. It's ending up in the garbage. And the whole point of school lunch like is gone at that point, you know what I mean? And having been number one, an immigrant, number two, like shocked by American school lunch, and number three, being a mother as well, like this was a very important job for me, you know what I mean? And I felt like it was like completely full circle. I started out at Seattle Public Schools, like being horrified at their lunch. But then I was able to put banh mi on the menu. I was able to put injera on the menu. So just like all these foods that like represented what Seattle children look like, you know what I mean? And it was really fulfilling.
And I'm glad you mentioned that most people who had your job were dietitian or nutritionists. And I could tell, and it's one of the most fascinating stories here in Seattle, I think, because you can tell it was a chef who took over the school program.
Totally.
Because I believe through with Marshall, there was sushi.
Yeah.
I think at high school, there was like a soup counter with pho.
Yes.
And you had banh mi's. Yeah. And I think there was like vegan dishes at Greenwood Elementary.
Yeah, we did avocado toast. We did so many things. Arroz con pollo.
Okay, so it's been a while since I've been in school. So prior to your time there, what is the setup? Did it change that much? Because Friday's always pizza. One day it's always hot dog or burger. One day it's always taco, spaghetti. Yeah. Is it still the same? True of most school districts?
I think so. Yeah, most school districts run either by like a 1 week or a 2 week menu cycle, because again, they just like want to make the job easier for them, and that's how it goes. So it's like usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But like when I came, I really had like a blank canvas. That was like the best thing. I was told that I had free reign, could do whatever I wanted to. And of course, as a chef, like I don't want to run a 1 week cycle or 2 week. I'm always going to like challenge myself and try to make like special things happen. Like I started a Taste of Washington or Taste of SPS program for the high schoolers. And that's where you saw like the soup bar, like the build your own taco bar.
Tell me about this, because this is, you know, like I said, I grew up where you eat like burgers and fries and pizza and taco, and that's not very good. But you introduced some of these concepts. So the soup, how did that work? Was this a test pilot at one school?
So when we tested, it would be maybe like a couple, up to like 5 probably, and it was probably like the high schoolers is where we started the focus on, because they also, a lot of the younger kids like just take lunch. High school was kind of like they can go off campus and all that. So we're really trying to like market to the high schoolers to stay on campus and eat the school food there. So we would start like around 5 schools, and the soup bar, we had like a soup base because of course, I mean, it's like mass production. You can't make everything from scratch.
This is what I mean. Most challenging job. I mean, I think it's just your most stressful challenging job. But sorry, go ahead. So a soup bar.
Honestly, not really. I mean, we used to have like a central kitchen. So there's like a lot of staff, obviously, but like big kettles and things like that. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, whether you're cooking for 1 person or like 1,000 person at the school, like if you have the right equipment, which we did, it was, you know, it was fine. Okay. So like,
and I'm just hooking this soup concept. Sorry, I'm gonna like take over your podcast.
No, so
I'm gonna fill a bust of this now.
You're fine.
So the soup, how did this work? What were the 5 soups? How does this work?
Yeah.
It was just a counter buffet.
So now, okay, I have to go back because again, I'm not at SPS anymore, and this was a while ago.
I understand.
But we had the base. We had like pho. I think we had like a chicken tortilla soup. I don't remember the rest. So we'd have the base, and I always like zhuzh things up, whether it's like me home cooking, like if I want to save some time and just like buy something, but I zhuzh it up a little bit. So we would send that, and then like spice mixes, and then the toppings we got a lot of grants with like the city of Seattle to work with like farmers. That was another big thing for me, to work with local produce. So then we would like try to incorporate those veggies through that. So the school also like what happened with Seattle Public Schools is way back in the day, like each kitchen, like we're working, cooking kitchens. And then when, you know, these mass like manufacturers started producing these like prepackaged, highly processed food items that like met all the federal guidelines, the school started closing all these school kitchens and like did the central kitchen. So all these school kitchens were basically like just to reheat stuff. And so when I came on, we were kind of trying to like undo that and allow each school kitchen, because also like diversity, like it also, you know, some things might be a hit in a region of Seattle and not in the other ones. So we really wanted each school to kind of have the ability to like cook for their population. Oh wow. Yeah, so being able to like send out just like pre-cut, like so the central kitchen would like pre-cut process everything, and they would have the ability to like cook whatever their students wanted.
Oh wow. So let's say if you're in a school district or a school of a lot of Vietnamese Asian population, would they have pho more so than chicken tortilla? Right,
exactly. Or
that's brilliant.
Which I thought was great, because these students can feel seen and not go hungry. But I also like was a big advocate to also like put it in schools where the population wasn't that, so that people, because I think that food is where you can learn so much more about a culture. You know what I mean? When I came, nobody knew what the heck Brazil was either. That was another trip to me. They'd be like, where are you from? I'm like, Brazil. And they're like, huh? So that was kind of crazy. So,
Geography challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, with the soup high school, I do get, because it's a older population. Yeah. So they do understand pho. Yep. But you did the impossible. You actually introduced sushi to an elementary school. Yeah. Tell me how this came about, and what was the reaction?
Yeah. So before I came on, the director at the time,
Sorry, take me back to the year.
Yeah, I think I started in 2019, I believe. So before I came on, he kind of like went to the schools and talked to each school, evaluated, did surveys with the actual kids to see like what the kids wanted. And at third grade Marshall, it was sushi.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Me.
So we were really
wait.
Yeah.
The parents said this, or the kids?
The kids. Yeah.
The kids from through with Marshall wanted sushi.
Wanted sushi. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
So what did you serve? Did you actually serve sushi?
Yeah, we actually served sushi. That we didn't make. Like we tried to find, I think it was Trident that was the purveyor for this, and they had some sushi, and we were able to serve it.
Salmon and
it was like a California roll, I believe. Okay. Yeah, and again, like this did not meet like the federal guideline at all, so it was just like a little extra. So I had to come up with like a dish to go with the salmon. So I maybe it was like chicken teriyaki or some type of like noodle or something to meet the requirements, and then you have like the little side of sushi, which a lot of school districts would probably think as a waste, but if you actually do good food, the kids will eat and they'll keep coming, and that's how it's it's like a business, it's a restaurant, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're not coming because the food is disgusting. You know what I mean? So that was the whole purpose of like enticing kids to like want to come eat at school and know that the food is delicious.
Wow. So through it, Marshall, you get California roll.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing it still, but
back then when you did it, you get a California roll for lunch.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And you also did chicken teriyaki
chicken. We did like yakisoba noodles. We did jerk chicken wings.
Now, all these things are at which elementary school? Again, based on your demographic, you choose your own adventure, or how does this work?
So I liked the concept of like separating, but I also, again, I think that like you learn through food. So like my idea was like to serve everybody at a certain point. So I didn't really like break up where we served it. I tried to serve everybody because I'm like, no, I'm going to force you to learn about
elementary school.
Yeah. Would get these things. Yeah. Unless it was like a really like the soup bar was high school also for like serving purposes. So little kids would be like splashing everything all around.
Food fight.
Exactly. I kind of had to think about stuff like that too. But yeah, my hope was that eventually all 100+ school sites would be able to have like everything that we were making at the time.
I think that's the most challenging. Yeah. So elementary school, sushi, California roll. You did vegan dishes.
We did,
which is unheard of. I don't know about you, Emmy, but when I went to school, there were like kids who would just put aside the meat, and at the time I just assumed it was hey, they didn't like the meat, and looking back it's like they found the vegetarian, or because of religious reasons they don't eat pork. But so you introduced vegan dishes in Seattle School District.
Again,
how did this come about?
It was very student led. I believe a student in Greenwood Elementary wrote into the culinary services director at the time saying, hey, we need more vegan, more vegetarian options, and these are our customers, we had to listen to them, you know what I mean? So we ended up taking that letter into consideration and doing like a vegan tasting festival at Greenwood Elementary where the student was at.
This is a public school.
I know.
That's doing this. This is amazing.
So we called up all the vendors that like had vegan products, and we had them come and set up like a tasting booth at this school, and then all the students came. I don't think it was all of them. I think obviously like the olders, probably maybe 4th or 5th grade, they came, everybody like tasted everything, and they like voted and had like a little feedback form to say like what product they enjoyed the most, and like sent it back into us, and we like implemented that product into our menu school, like district wide.
There was a vegan menu in elementary school. Holy cow.
There was like a vegan like meat kind of like crumble that I did like a chili with, like a sweet potato vegan chili with. So just like incorporating those types of things.
That was a lot more sophisticated when I grew up.
I know.
The best thing that was a vegetarian dish in school for me was French fries. Because you get a lot of potatoes because, I don't think this is a political statement, but the potato industry was a big lobbyist, including Susan Collins of Maine, who should lobby to keep this in the school district, because one is a low cost commodity. Potatoes don't cost much, but that's why you will always eat potatoes. In the school district,
absolutely. Tater tots, little smiley French fries, and all that.
Now there's jerk chicken, there's teriyaki chicken. Now what school level is this?
This was like all school wide.
Oh my god, I would not have to bring bun me if there was chicken, teriyaki chicken and jerk chicken. This is school wide.
School wide, yeah.
How would you serve it with? A little bit of white rice, brown rice?
With plantains, actually. Also.
Plantains?
Yeah, sweetened plantains, yeah.
And is this part of your cultural background?
Yes.
that you introduced. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like growing up in SPS and having friends of like different cultures, like I knew the student body of Seattle Public Schools, and I wanted them to like feel seen and like not go hungry and eat delicious food, so it was really important for me.
That's fascinating. And also we talk about like, let's see, there's Asian food, there's Seattle teriyaki, but you also there's injera.
Yeah, we did a lentil. I forget the name. Maybe it was like Doro Wat or I don't remember which one. So we did like the lentil stew with injera. So there was like one of our supervisors there at the time, which she was a really good friend of mine. Knew a vendor that made injettas, and he makes like for weddings, and it's like thousands of people at like a Ethiopian or Eritrean wedding. So he made a bunch of injera. We took our SPS van, like loaded it up in the car, like cut it all up. These things are doable, you know what I mean? You can do it. You just have to be like really fully invested on the purpose of like why you're doing this. Wow. You know what I mean? I think that had I stayed longer, we would be able to see like the return of investment in putting this care and thought into like a menu for kids at school.
Wow. What grade level was this that got the injera and the lentils?
Everybody.
So all school.
All school-wide. Yeah.
Holy cow.
School-wide, like elementary, middle, and high school. Yeah.
And you also did banh mi. Now school-wide or
school-wide. Mm-hmm.
Wow,
school-wide.
wow.
Yeah.
What was most? I don't think you can top that. All these places. Like, what are some ones I missed? What else?
We did. So I also was there when COVID happened. So the school like shut down, but we were doing like meal sites. I think we had maybe 20 meal sites throughout the district. And we were working, again, the city of Seattle really supported us through like a lot of grants to work with like local producers, local farmers. We worked with, I forget, one of the tribes for salmon. So I did like a smoked salmon chowder at all of those sites.
Seattle school kids get smoked salmon chowder.
Yep. Yeah.
I grew up in the wrong school.
I know, right? Wrong time. Me too. I know.
And for listeners out there, this is not like common in most parts of the United States.
Yeah.
This is not even common in parts of Western Washington school district.
Mm-hmm.
That's how fortunate.
I know. It was really, that's why I say it was like really one of the most fulfilling jobs that I had, for sure. Yeah.
And I think this also tells you how much food culture has changed. I mean, because like I was telling you, when I went to school, I brought banh mi. I got made fun of because no one knew what a banh mi was. Why are there carrots sticking out of this weirdly shaped bread that isn't white bread?
Yeah.
And now I'm sure they love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they know all of this, or do you have to explain to them? They know what a California roll is. They know what banh mi is.
I feel like, the ratio of people, the kids who knew, was a lot higher probably than back then. But even so, like, we educated our kitchen managers at like each of the school. I try to like do a little paragraph like talking about like what the dish was so that they could answer like any questions as well. And I was also big on like marketing stuff as well.
See, and I think also this says a lot about how much our food culture has changed.
Totally.
Because I'm going to date myself, but when I went to school, boys like me did not want to be in home ec class.
Yeah.
I don't think they even call it home ec anymore. But back then, you learn how to cook in home ec.
Yeah.
And kids would make fun of boys who were in home ec saying, oh, you're gay or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's a very hip thing to learn how to cook.
Exactly.
You watch, like shows, like some of the shows that you've been on as a food contestant.
Yeah.
And people know all about the food. They're really savvy about this.
Totally. Yeah. Which was like, I'm sure that helped with being successful implementing these like new dishes into the school. So, I mean, I think that we really underestimate kids. I'm also a mom. So like, I know like kids, you know what I mean? And my thing is like, kids don't like salad. Like I hated when people would just make this blanket statement. I have 4 kids and each one of my kids are so different. One kid loves salad. The other ones won't touch it with a 10-foot pole, but I'm still going to put it on the menu and you're still going to at least see it. You're going to be, I think exposure is like even, great, so very, very important for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where do you get some of the ideas? One is a survey. You ask the kids what they want. I love this. I'm still blown away. Someone recommended sushi. And I'm even more blown away that you made it happen. But so that's the main driver. Anything else? Just you want to, I don't know, is it like you have 100 pounds of chicken, so let's make teriyaki, or how? What are the other concepts?
It was just like a challenge to myself. Like, how can I make tens of thousands of portion of a certain thing to go? And of course, like to me, like stews and like braises and stuff like that were like the easiest thing to make. Just make it in the kettle. So it's just, I use the same creative process that I would use with like the restaurant or my pop-ups or catering. I treated it like this is a restaurant with like tens of thousands of clients, and the kids are the clients.
This is exactly why our school system is just messed up, because we hire nutritionists and dietitians to run these things that kids do not want to eat. When you're right, like when I was in high school, I could drive. I went to Burger King. I did not want to eat in the school cafeteria. And I think that's just great. We had to think more like how you did at the Seattle School District. And it's, hey, chicken teriyaki. They will eat that. Banh mi. Yes, they will eat that. And we've just been looking at this so wrong, the way we approach food.
Completely.
But when you did this, I mean, was this a treat once in a while? Like just California roll once a month with just trial and error? Some of these things you went through, banh mi and
no, so it would depend on like the food costs, obviously, because we obviously can't be losing money. So things like the salmon would be special. Again, it would be like a grant that the city of Seattle would provide, so we'd be able to do that. But some of the things were like staple, like the injera and lentil stew. That was very not expensive to make, so that was a staple. Our vegan sweet potato vegan chili was a staple as well. Like my goal was to make it a staple if we could afford to do so. It wasn't just kind of like a publicity stunt. You know what I mean? I wanted kids to be confident that like, no, I don't need money to go to Burger King, or I don't need a home lunch. Like I'm gonna eat at school because it's good, and I can't wait to get there to eat. So yeah, definitely like was a staple. Yeah.
And the other thing I realized is just growing up is you learn a lot about different cultures, because when I was a kid, I mean, there were kids who brought, I guess you call them tiffin boxes, although they're more circular. It looks like dim sum steamer.
Oh, yeah.
Stack up. We had one kid who brought that. Of course, like people were confused. Like, that's their version of the lunchbox. They were very confused. I was wondering, so in Brazil, where you grew up, lunch was a big meal. Right?
Yeah, school lunches was like not really a thing. We would have like merenda, which would be like a pão de queijo, just a little snack. So I think honestly, that's what my parents, when they first like started sending me with like lunch, it was like a merenda. It was just like maybe a sandwich with like some tuna salad in it, just wrapped in a paper towel, and like a pineapple juice on the side, which was like great. But also like here I am like unwrapping in a paper towel while everybody has this cute little like lunch boxes everywhere. So it's just like I would eventually like started asking for like Lunchables and stuff like that, which I know a lot of like immigrant kids do. They just you start wanting to just assimilate and like be American, which is like such a shame. Such a shame.
And see, that's what is so impressive at what you're doing, because you kind of flipped the wheel here, and that is you showed the mainstream like, hey, let's introduce these concepts like injera and banh mi and teriyaki chicken. You mentioned lunch boxes. Did you have one?
I don't think I did. I think my parents just like would wrap stuff up in like paper towel or something for me, and if I got a Lunchable, it would just be like the Lunchable box. I don't think I ever had a lunchbox. Did you?
I did. My family grew up poor, so it was like the ones that were on clearance sale, like Kid Power, which no one knows, like Kung Fui. There's another one. Like these like random lunch boxes that no one knows about because it doesn't fly off the shelf. So it was just at a discount.
Totally.
Yeah.
Did you know, like back then when you were a kid, or even like, when you were graduated high school and stuff, that your career would lead back to food?
I did not.
No?
I did not. Food was just, when I grew up, Food Network did not exist, right? Like, people don't get to turn on Food Network and see you appear on Chop. So it was just subsistence.
Yeah.
And it was just something I learned to cook to survive, I guess, for subsistence. When I became a reporter, I was a hard news reporter, and I transitioned over by writing more about travel stories. And my travel story had a food component.
Okay.
And then, so when things change and food scene becomes sexier and sexier, I'm now one of 3 full-time food writer at the Seattle Times. 3 full-time food writer. When you hear anything like that, it's usually 3 city hall reporters, 3 education reporters. That just shows you how big food culture is in our society, in mainstream America, that we have in Seattle. 3 full-time food writer at 1 newspaper. That's unheard of. So I just learned through it, just because, like right now I'm single. So then if I don't eat out, I just need to learn how to cook, or do some ramen hack or something. And it's just more relaxing. Do you find it relaxing, or is it stressful? Can you separate between cooking in a kitchen as a private chef and cooking for your kids? Is it all the same stress?
No, honestly, at home, it's like more stressful because my kids are more demanding and they're more opinionated.
Wow, they're worse than Yelp?
Yes. Yes, they're so picky, and I'm like, you know what? Goodbye.
Do they eat American food, or do they eat Brazilian food, or a mix?
A mix of both, and other cultures as well. My thing is like, we're gonna try everything. You know what I mean? Sure, we'll have like a junk food day, but I honestly, again, I don't like these like corn dogs and like, the typical American like kid food. It's not. I don't like it, so we don't eat it too much, but. I'm going to swear. Let's back up for a second. I'm curious. See, now you're no longer in the Seattle School District. No.
So I need to know, what were some of the worst meals that you thought were ill, and some of the best? Let's start with the worst.
Food from Seattle School District?
Yeah. It could be a pizza, burger, or whatever, and then the best. So let's take the worst first.
Man.
Prior.
From like my...
Well, did you tested all these things before you did?
Yeah,
oh my God,
the
I'm so
vendors
sorry.
would come and like try to sell you, you know what I mean? Yeah, and...
So some of the worst food like, that Seattle's kids had to eat.
Oh my gosh. There was like the beef dippers.
The what?
Beef dippers.
Beef as in like a French dip, kind of?
But it was like teriyaki, almost like these like weird, like long-shaped like mystery meat. That was like you dipped in like soy sauce. It was really disgusting. That was gross.
We called it astronaut food growing up,
basically, and even just the name beef dipper.
Now, did that get through all the?
Oh yeah, all the regulations and stuff. Yeah.
So that was actually served in the schools.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? In the Seattle School District, that.
Oh my gosh, what else? All I can think of is like the stuff that we did. The pizzas were pretty gross too, because they got really strict with like the nutrition of school, like sodium and all that, and it's like, I don't know how I feel about that, because I understand like health wise, but also like we need salt to make this taste good. We need the kids to actually eat for them to be nutritious. Okay,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
This is I'm so glad you expounded on this, because this is a problem with the school district. And years ago, Jamie Oliver of the show The Naked Chef, he tried to elevate school lunches, I think in West Virginia and across the country. It's really hard to pull off because you have so many components. One, you said you have these nutritional guidelines where tomato paste counts as a vegetable. And you have a lot of potatoes in school because, again, it's partly because it's a cheap veggie, kind of, sort of. And 2, because you have the potato industry pushing for this. You have so many components fighting, and it's not for the kids.
No.
So I'm always impressed by some of the things that the Seattle School District did. So I was blown away when I found out the genesis of all this was you. But back to that. Okay, so the worst was the beef dipper.
Beef dippers. We had just like, there was like a hummus dip that was just, again, really gross, like no flavor. I'm like, where did you get this chickpea from?
Hummus. Now, the best then. It can't be something that you made. But before you arrive, you taste it, you say, damn, this is good.
Dang.
Or passable.
Oh man. I'm gonna have to go back to like my day, and again back to my day, like at least like the schools were cooking themselves, so I think that like the lunch ladies, they had pride, because they were making this food and they were serving the students that they came to know, so it wasn't like honestly that bad. Breakfast was great. We had like these little like smoky rolls with like little like sausages inside. That was really good. And they like, I learned that they actually like handmade those, which was, and made like the bread for it. So so that was good. The spaghetti, I would say, was probably like my favorite day, because it just felt more home cooked. It had a little flavor to it. Yeah.
You say flavor, I think it's that tanginess.
That's it. Yeah. Like
it's
not
acid. Meatballs, like meat sauce.
Yeah,
I can't taste the meat. I can see it. I can't taste it. But I think it's that tanginess that I like. And I love putting a lot of parm or a fake parm or whatever you call that. So that works for me.
I don't even think we had parm.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, how did that go down?
I don't know.
I love the condiment station. I needed the mustard.
Yeah.
To eat the hot dog. I can't, it doesn't go down easy for me. That's another mystery meat.
I could never get down with the hot dog or the corn dogs. Corn dogs, ugh.
So I went backwards there for a second. Okay.
Yeah. No, back
beef
to
dipper.
Yes,
Sorry.
beef dipper. I want to talk to you though about like just. I mean, I think your job is fascinating too. I know you think mine is, and I'm like, I would love to be a restaurant critic. Like, what does it take? Like, what is a day in the life? Like, how does?
Oh, okay. I know this is a first world problem. I know it's a job that a lot of people want, but I would say it's not crack up as it is that people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
You also eat a lot of bad meals before you find a good meal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't enjoy going out that much. It's really exhausting. Just the parking by itself.
Yeah.
It's just exhausting around Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So I eat every other day in the sense that I eat 3 dinners on the term of days I'm working. So if I'm working today, then I will eat my first meal around 4 p.m. It will usually be a hot restaurant because that way there's not a lot of people. They might have happy hour, so it's discounted.
Mm-hmm.
And my second meal will usually be a happy hour at a bar, and that's when I smooze or talk to bartenders just to get a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And my third dinner would probably be my heaviest dinner. That's around 8 p.m. So it's 3 meals. And then the next day, I would drink. I have an espresso machine at home. I would drink maybe at least 3 espresso in the morning, and that would curb my appetite. Don't try this, boys and girls. I'm not saying I'm not saying this is healthy. I'm not advocating you should do this, but that's how I do it.
Yeah.
It just works for me. So on alternative days, what I do is, because my weight fluctuates so much, so I do hot yoga with a hoodie on.
Oh, wow.
And I run every morning. So that just keeps my weight within check. Because I used to be like 30 pounds overweight, 25 pounds overweight. So it just works for me.
Yeah.
I know fasting has become a thing, and that has nothing to do with being healthy. It was just me. This is how I diet. This is how I eat, and I'm just used to it. But it's not healthy. Eating 3 dinners a day. Yeah.
Like every other day, or like
every other day. Sorry, every other day.
So like,
and you know how it is because it's so salty and buttery. Food in restaurant is not the same as what you serve, and you know this because you're a cook, and also you have kids. Yeah,
totally.
So it's brutally rich when I eat.
Wow, I don't know why I thought it would be like maybe like 1 a week or something like that.
And some people do that.
Yeah, okay.
Some people would do that, but it's so stressful to eat out in Seattle, to park, and some places hard to get in. So when I'm out, I don't do a spreadsheet because I don't know how computers work. So I will write out my schedule. Like, hey, there's a hot restaurant, let's say in Capitol Hill. So I'm going to start there at 4 or 5. That way it won't be packed. I know I can get a seat. I'm going to work my way around town. I'm going to pick a bar for a second meal because I need to stay update on what's going on. One of the most popular things in the Seattle Times that we write about is our list of openings. Restaurant openings in Seattle and Bellevue. So I have to keep feeding that beast. And it's absurd. And we talked about how much people love food. Those opening lists are more well-read than whatever is happening in the Seattle School District. In whatever Trump is doing. The number one story will always be restaurant openings. And that will, like, trump any Trump news, will trump anything about education, city hall budgets. And it's good, but it's kind of sad. Because
it's a little scary. Like,
it has become a very cool, happening thing is to, like, cover food like we do sports. Right? It's kind of weird. And that's why I'm asking you because, man, I grew up in the wrong era. I mean, it was like I get made fun of in school for bringing banh mi. And here you are making banh mi now for kids. Or you used to. So, sorry. To answer your question, that's how my schedule works. It's not always fun to write negative reviews, but it's an honest review. I'm not an influencer. I pay for my own meals. I have an expense account. My company reimburse me when I do the paperwork. So that is the part of a job that I think people think it's cool because you get an expense account and you get to dine out a lot. But keep in mind, if you do it for just a month or a year, then it's really cool. It's a fun job.
Right.
But if you have to do it day in and
Full
day
time.
out for years and 10 years, yes, I realize this is whole Crimea River, first world problem, but it gets exhausting.
I can see that.
And it's not good for your health.
Yeah.
You don't realize how buttery and how salty the food is until you've done it for years
All
and
the time.
years.
Yeah.
Every food writer will tell you this. You gain a lot of weight.
Yeah, I bet.
When you don't get healthier being a food writer or even critic, food writer, food podcaster. If you eat out, it's just not healthy.
No, totally. That totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like people have like romanticized it so
they
much
do,
right now.
and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And as you, do you go out to eat, or do you always cook for your family?
You know,
Tell me how many kids you
I have 4. I was about to say, we are a family of 6, so it's a lot to get these kids out. You know what I mean?
It would cost so much now in Seattle, right?
Yeah, and so one is a baby, so he doesn't eat yet. But the other 3, like especially my 2 middles, like they're starting to eat like grown people portions, you know, where at first it was like, you know, a kid's meal, which kids meal is a whole nother rant that we can go through, which is like, why do we have a separate menu for kids? But yeah, no, it's expensive. We try to, you know, every once in a while. They love like Thai food. Thai Siam is back, thank goodness. Like they love Thai food, and but I do cook a lot. My mom also cooks a lot for us as well. She, you know, they closed the restaurant a couple years ago, and this is how she gets like her little hit of cooking, still Brazilian food.
And is that how you learn how to cook? Because your family had owned a restaurant in the U District, I believe.
In the U District, yeah.
What's the name of it?
It was Tempero do Brasil. It was the first Brazilian restaurant in Seattle.
And so did you have to cook there after school when you were a little kid, or?
Oh my God. I didn't do the cooking. Mostly I was like front of the house. I was like the hostess, the server, sometimes
breaking a lot of child labor laws.
Exactly. Yeah, so
free labor. 8 years old and doing the dishes.
Seriously though.
People think I'm joking, but a lot of Asian families.
No, we're not joking.
1, 2. I know at least 3 were like 8 to 10, and they would take a bucket, put it upside down.
Yeah.
It's like a stool, and then so they could reach the sink and wash the dishes for their parents.
No, totally.
Free labor.
I was actually
not even joking.
No, I just had an interview today with Bricia Lopez of Guelaguetza in LA, and she was talking about how she grew like it was like child labor. We all were made to work. 10, 11, 12, like 13, same. And I'm like, yeah, that's just the story.
That was our culture.
Yeah.
But did you learn how to cook from your mom?
I learned how to cook for my mom, but like before, like in Brazil, honestly, because my mom had a catering company that she ran out of our home in Brazil, and she was like the chef of the family. So like any gathering, anything like happened in our house. So like I was around her. My paternal grandma lived with us as well, and she just was like in the kitchen all day long, like peeling with the little knife. So that's where I learned how to cook. Like my mom in Brazil, yeah. And
do your kids appreciate your cooking, or they're like, oh,
they do?
Oh, Mom.
They do.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
They do.
Because I was gonna say, if they didn't, I think they will eventually when they grow up and they realize, oh my God, my mom made this and that's so much better. Because I used to be an education reporter in addition to being a food writer later on, and just interviewing and talking to neighbors.
Yeah.
Parents who could cook, the kids didn't appreciate it, and they go to dorm life and they grew up. And I was like, oh, Mom, we ate so well.
I know.
Back then when I grew up.
Yeah. It's so funny because they really appreciated, especially like our Brazilian cooking at home. When we went to Brazil and we would like eat out a lot and the food just like wasn't as good. And they'd be like, oh my God, like this is not like how you or grandma makes it. So I think that's when they really got a taste of it.
Give me a crash course.
Yeah.
Crash course, Amy. So Brazilian food, what is the foundation? Beans, plantains, or tell me.
Okay, I'm actually, my manuscript is due today. So I've been deep diving in Brazilian cookbook. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. So Brazil is divided into 5 regions, and like the food, as you can really like, is reflected in the history of Brazil. So, you know, they kidnapped and trafficked the African people and brought it. The first point was Northeast Brazil. So Northeast Brazil is like heavily influenced by West African like culture and cuisines. We have like the red palm oil, a lot of coconut milk, black eyed peas, okra, like all that stuff. You go up north. So when it was colonized, like all the indigenous people like ran into like, you know, the jungle, the forest, the Amazons. And so they wouldn't get captured. So a lot of the north of Brazil is like very indigenous ingredients. And very indigenous. So a lot of the north is about like the cooking technique. So like smoking, fermenting, open fire grilling, and a lot of like hyper native like herbs and veggies and fruits and stuff, so that you can't get like or find anywhere else. And then you go to central west Brazil, and that was just like a big open land that also didn't really get like too colonized, so it's still like very like native, but it's like country style cooking. A lot of there's like, you know, not a lot of seafood, a lot of like chicken and beef, just like really like country, fortified with like cassava flour. And then southeast is where like people think like that's Brazil, is like Rio and Sao Paulo. But after like, you know, slavery was abolished, they were like, what the heck are we gonna do? So they started like, okay, let's, you know, advertise Brazil as like the land of opportunity. So a lot of like immigrants, a lot of European immigrants, a lot of Japanese immigrants came, and like it was either like you were either subsidized immigrant, and those were of like German and Russian, and they went to the south. So that's why you have like a really big population of like just like European Brazilians down there, and they were able to like keep their culture. So a lot of their dishes like are still kind of like authentic, like it wasn't Brazilianized at all. So there's like a lot of dishes that are just like Russian dishes like in Brazil. Yeah, it's so rad, it's so crazy. And then the immigrants that came that weren't subsidized, they stayed like in the southeast area, and they were like vendors, business owners, and that was like a lot of like Arab, a lot of the Japanese people. So we have a lot of like Middle Eastern, like kibe and esfija. I thought those were like Brazilian things until like I came here and I worked at Mom Noon, and I was like, you guys have kibe too? And I'm like, oh my God, it's not even a Brazilian thing. It's a, you know, like Lebanese or, you know, Arab thing. I don't know. So that was my long answer to say that it really depends on where you are in Brazil. The steakhouses, which is probably what people think Brazil is, oh, you guys eat a lot of meat. That's definitely a southern Brazil thing. And that's just like one gaucho culture. It's just like one little aspect of, you know, so many others that make Brazil what it is. So it's really diverse. I specialize in Northeast because that's where I was from. So my food is very like a lot of seafood because of the coast, like a lot of Afro-Brazilian food. Yeah. So cooking muqueca, like, you know, dendê oil, coconut milk. Even our feijoada in the Northeast is a little different. It's not like the black beans. It's like this kind of similar to like a kidney bean probably, and we don't eat it with rice and the collard greens. It's totally different. So yeah, it's diverse, I guess.
And one of the things I've learned from being a food writer, I mean, and you mentioned this, like, oh, I thought this was Brazilian food. I didn't realize it wasn't. And there's actually, this is the epiphany for me. There's not actually a lot of original dishes. I've noticed. I'll give you an example. If I say soup dumpling, you're going to think it's Chinese as Din Tai Fung. But I recently discovered that the Republic of Georgia in Eastern Europe, they have beef soup dumplings.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's actually the influence of Mongolia.
Yeah.
And there's very, you know, like even I grew up eating Vietnamese spring rolls. And I thought, oh, this is unique to us, but it's not, right? It's Filipino have a version, egg rolls, Chinese have a version. There's very little original food. The food has just evolved. We borrow. It's like a melting pot of America.
Yeah,
it just evolved. We borrow and we adapt it to make it our own.
Exactly. And I go on a spiel about tapioca because that's like the prime example to me, because it's native to the Amazon. You know, the indigenous people created the process to even discover tapioca.
Yes.
But because of colonization and trade, you know, West Africa, they use it a lot, and Southeast Asia, you guys use it a lot. So it's like, what else on this earth could connect, you know, Southeast Asian, a West African, and a Brazilian? Tapioca. Only food it can connect us, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, back to what you said, like, back then when I was a kid, you know, school kids were very provincial, very myopic. But you say tapioca now, even to an elementary school kid, they'll think bubble tea, right?
Yeah.
It's just food world has changed so much.
Completely.
Where everything, where we feel like we know. It's become a very hip concept. Do you get that sense? Do your kids think it's cool? Because, you know, well, it's not just you're a chef, but you're like a private chef of Eddie Vedder and Jamal Crawford. You've been on the Food Network competition. So do your kids think it's cool?
They think it's so cool. Like, especially when they see me on TV, they get like really excited because usually like the producers will ask me to like send pictures from home. So I always like send pictures of them too. So they get to be on TV for a little bit too. So yeah, they get super stoked about it. My daughter got to watch like the Chopped episode in class with everyone. So yeah,
that is a proud moment for her and for you, but for her, that's gotta be a great feeling.
No, it's totally, yeah.
So what did you win in Chopped? What was your dish?
My dish. So I did obviously Brazilian menu all throughout. My first was quibe. I did like the beef croquette. My entree was actually, it wasn't Brazilian. My entree was more Peruvian. I did a lomo saltado.
That is my favorite.
Really?
Peruvian South American dish. Again, we talked about this, right? Chinese influence. Like French fries? Steak? Rice? What?
Yeah, a lot of soy sauce they use too.
Yes, right, the brown sauce. Yes, a lot of umami. Yes.
Yeah, and then my last was a donut. Because the theme was shakes and fries, so it was like some type of potato and some type of shake with each course. My last was a sweet potato donut with like a mole spiced like sugar on it. So yeah, I took the crown with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were you shocked, or did you know you got this?
I knew I got this. There was like there was like a Michelin starred chef, and it's like I had done like 2 other competitions that I didn't win before, so this time I was like, just focus
also
on yourself.
Food Network.
Also on the Food Network.
Where were they?
I did Cutthroat Kitchen, and actually I did MasterChef like billion years ago. So those 2. But I was like, I'm not gonna let anybody I'm not gonna try to copy anybody. I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Focus on you, and that like won me, the championship. So yeah,
you think that helped being on a previous show because you kind of get the lay of the land?
Yes, for sure. Like
seeing all the editing, the sleight of hand, and the
like how quick things go, because it's actually, it's really authentic. You have 15 minutes to cook this thing, you know what I mean? Yes, there's like before it starts you have like a little bit of time and you kind of get a tour of the kitchen, but it's real. It's real. Like the first time I was on camera, I definitely kind of froze up a little bit, but I think I'm an expert now, so I love it too. I'm really competitive.
The competition.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
Medium for you. That's great. Now you mentioned Peruvian food. I think Peruvian food is having a moment.
I think so
Seattle,
too.
There's a lot of food.
Yes. Yeah.
And South American Venezuelan. There's a couple of restaurants, new restaurants in Kent and Renton. I hate to say that, but it feels like it's having a moment. It's going to be more popular. Yeah. What about Brazilian food? Where would people go now that they can't go to your family restaurant anymore?
There's really, it's talking about Seattle, it's only really like those steakhouses.
Yeah.
There's like 1 or 2, okay restaurants, but like regional cuisine you can't really get anywhere. You can get it at my pop-up, which I'm hopefully doing like a residency coming here soon that I'm going to announce. But I took a break last year because I was pregnant on maternity leave, and I just started doing.
So is this going to be at one of these tasting rooms?
It's actually at Yala on Capitol Hill. She has like a little to-go window, so I'm going to be taking over there.
It's next to Dino's.
Next to Dino's. And then I'm in conversations with, because I had a pop-up at Osun yesterday, in conversation of doing a residency there as well, because I think I love doing it, but I don't know if I would own a restaurant completely anytime
I think it's
soon.
crazy. I mean, the economic math does not make sense.
No, the math does not math.
And see, as a food writer and food critic, I get aspiring cook and restaurateurs call me all the time for me to be a consultant. I can't do that. It's a conflict of interest for me, but I always tell them, I said, if you have $100,000, I actually did tell people that. Yeah. If you have $100,000, just put in Apple stock or Google. It's that's not what they want to hear, right? But you know what? If you go back and you Google how much Apple and Google stocks are 10 years ago, you would make a lot more than what you would in a restaurant. Yeah. It's just a tough business.
It is. It always has been.
Brutal business.
Yeah, it always has been.
I think you have critics like me who like my poo-poo your shirt. No. Your shirt. Your food. Who poo-poo your food.
I mean, I'm an advocate for like honesty, honestly. I was asked to be like a James Beard Award judge like in the last couple of years, and that was, I really wanted to be honest in that. And I felt a pressure, like I felt pressure to be like really honest about some things.
Oh, we should talk. I used to be a James Beard judge.
You did? Okay. Yeah. I did it like 2 years. I did it last year and then 2 years before that. So it was, hands up to you, because I I would have to be honest, but it would be really scary for me to have to be honest.
It's tough. See, and I'm glad you said this because as a food writer and critic, you know, this is a time, where were we? We're in summer, so no, it's during the spring, job shadows, the number one person that every kid wants to job shadow is the food writer, food critic, movie critic, kind of sports writing, yes, but always the food writer. And I tell people the jobs suck because, and unless you're an influencer, then you take, you know, I wouldn't say bribe, but then you take money and then you write just positive things.
It's different,
but it's different when you're a food writer or food critic. One, you don't take free food, and two, you have to be honest, and that is sometimes, you know, I'm sorry, but your mom's secret recipes suck. It doesn't translate well. I mean, I'm sorry. No, it's not snarky or cruel, but you explain things, right?
Totally.
That's why people read.
I mean, it's disappointing for readers when it's like something, you know, the place is hyped up and you go and it's not what it's cracked up to be. So I definitely appreciate an honest review.
Yeah, and it costs so much to eat out now.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying your kids should be very thankful that their mom is a badass cook.
Yes.
So it's a combination of both Afro-Brazilian. Do you cook American food for them?
I
do.
Like
burgers and I don't know, it's 4th of July.
Yeah, I cook like a lot of like just like Pacific Northwest type of stuff. They love salmon and things like that. Just, like a good, I usually try, you know, protein, starch, and a veg, you know.
So does it help being with the Seattle School District where you realize you're more self-conscious about putting more fiber into this dish to meet the requirement?
It definitely helped me. Yeah, it definitely helped me kind of like do little tips and tricks at home, try to hide my veggie count for them. So yeah, it definitely helped at home.
Oh, wow. Did you do that before?
A little bit, because I do like some of my clients, like, you know, I was also cooking. They usually have families and like little kids and stuff, and their number one concern is making sure that their kids are eating well. So like I was already kind of like thinking of ways to cook for the kids. Honestly, kids have always been like my client, if you really think about it, you know. Like even my clients, they go off of like what their kids say. If like you're the private chef and their kids are not eating their food, you're probably gonna get fired. So I've always like kind of tailored to the kids, but that doesn't mean I'm cooking like little kiddie menu. It's like I still need to cook food that the parents like are sophisticated enough for the adult, but that the kid will also enjoy.
Oh, we gotta talk about this because you meant the kids menu. So you're against restaurants having a kids menu.
Yes.
Explain.
And it's so funny. I went to Brazil like 2 years ago and they start having kids menu, and it was such a trip to me because I'm like, I just hate the idea. Like I grew up eating with the family, you know, like you're eating what's on the table. Like my big thing with my kids, it's like, you're not going to eat a different food. I'm not going to cook something different for you. I'm not going to make like this beautiful salmon for me and my husband and like buttered noodles for you. No, you're going to like eat what we're eating. I think that that's like the way I grew up, and, you know, that's the way it should be, in my opinion.
Nice. You're right. Yeah. And I think the only downside to that is if your kids are at a restaurant and they throw a temper tantrum with a pout. Because I don't mind if they just sit there and starve.
Hungry.
That's fine with me. But you're right. I think even restaurants will tell you that, hey, it's not so much that we want to cook something different. We just want them to behave so that other tables can enjoy their meal.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think like because it's always been a concept for me. Like, so when my kids are young, like, you know, I have my baby now and I'm like, you know, feeding him some of my feijoada. So it's like, they're already used to it. So it's never, so they're not going to throw a tantrum, you know, in the restaurant because they're used to eating like grown up food already, I guess, you know, and they, I mean, that doesn't mean I'm like forcing them to eat things that they don't like. They can have a choice of, you know, of like what, you know, are we going to eat chicken or whatever, but like you're going to eat like an adult meal, like real food. We're not just going to eat fries and chicken tenders.
See, I'm so fascinated, Emme, because I'm used to talking to chefs, but I'm not used to talking to someone who's in charge of a school district or used to be. Mm-hmm. So give me an advice. Let's say for parents with kids, you know, working parents, give me 2 or 3 simple meals they could make for kids who are, let's say, elementary school. Yeah. You know, lunchbox or brown paper bag. What's
for lunch?
Yeah, for lunch.
For lunch, I like to make, like I said, like stews.
Easy for like, working parents, okay?
Honestly, like your leftovers from dinner, first of all. Especially if it's like a pasta or a stew. Like those reheat like great. Like stick it in the microwave, have a thermo container, and send it off to school. Like those are the meals that my kids like eat at school the most is that. Make it, that's number one tip right there.
Thermal. Yeah, you're right. Because stew, soup, they want.
Yeah, exactly. Or like make a pasta salad, add some veggies in there. That is great. My kids also, I think any kid, like kind of like the like the idea of like a bento box with like options. Kids like options, and they like to feel like they're making the decision of like what they want to eat. So if you just like stick a whole bunch of like little like things for them, some veggies, some fruit, little dips and whatever, like they feel like, oh, okay, like I have, you know, the authority to like eat what I want from this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
That kind of like makes them feel a little bit more empowered. There's just things like that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And I'm sorry if I asked you this already, but your kids, do you make their lunch?
Right. So,
or do they eat school lunch?
My eldest is in high school, so she kind of just they go out to eat.
So she eats out for lunch. Okay.
And then I have two. I have a 9 and a 10-year-old. My son will just do school lunch.
So help me out. I don't have kids. So 9 and 10. What grade is that?
So now it's 4th and 5th. They'll be in 4th and 5th this coming year.
Okay, so 4th and 5th, how do they do lunch?
Yeah, so my 5th grader, my son, he'll just eat at school. Like, he'll just eat, basically.
And how does he feel about the school lunch?
He'll eat it. He's also, like, it's interesting because he's, like, the most pickiest. He's, like, the most American palate child, I think. So I think the lunch kind of fits for him. Although he'll be like, ugh, the pizza was gross. Like, he'll eat it because he's hungry. But then when I ask, like, do you want to take school lunch? He'll say, no, it's okay. I'll just eat at school. I don't know what it is. I have to investigate, maybe. Maybe it's just, like, a cool thing for him. My daughter started out like wanting school lunch because like her peers were doing it, but then she's my foodie. She loves food, and she's like, she knows what she wants, she knows how she wants it. So she's like, no, I can't do this. Like, I can't like go hungry all day. So she asked me to I'll make her school lunch. Yeah.
What bunch of spoiled brats. Wait, let me get this straight. So the high school kids, you do not make lunch for, but you give her lunch money.
Yeah. So she and
so
she works.
There's another one.
Yeah.
So he
will eat at school.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a third one, the third youngest.
She begs for home lunch.
And of course, the fourth kid is a baby.
Baby, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's why I'll use leftovers. Like, yes, I'll make you school lunch. Here's our leftovers from yesterday. Eat that.
So that's a secret, pretty much. It's leftover. Use that. And you're right. The thermal.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. It keeps everything warm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Wow. Fascinating. I've learned so much. No, because you're right. That makes sense to me because people at my workplace, they bring Tupperware, and that's exactly what it is. It's just leftover from the night. So why leftover from the previous dinner? So why not students? So Oh, wow.
Exactly.
I love this. I learn something new every day.
Good. I'm glad you did. I've learned what it's like to really be a restaurant critic.
There you go.
It's not as glamorous as people make it out to be.
You will gain a lot of weight. See, this is what would scare people in job shadowing program because they want to be food critic.
Yeah.
And then when I say, oh, you gain like 20 pounds. And I was like,
never mind.
There were one college student and one high school kid. It's like, ew. So then I went within my dress. These are things that kids think about.
Oh man, yeah. No, I'm also thinking they probably imagine like the influencer style of like critics.
See, that's the thing is I'm not good at TikTok and any of this, but yes, I think when people job shadow, they get the wrong perception. What they really want to be is a TikTok
like an influencer.
Like to go take picture, post on Instagram, and get like $1,000 or $10,000, whatever the going rate is. Mm-hmm. They don't want to do the grunt, which is actually sitting down writing on deadline, and telling people their food suck or the restaurant suck.
Yeah,
that's not pleasant. It's still not pleasant to me.
Yeah, I don't think it would be pleasant for me either. Oh my gosh, this conversation was so great. I feel like we'll have to have a part 2 in the near future.
We should, and we gotta come back. I want to hear about this book.
Yes.
Cookbook.
Oh my gosh.
When is it gonna be published?
So I just talked to my editor. We're thinking spring 2027. So
oh wow,
there's so much that again, my manuscript is due today, and spring 2027. That's like seems like such a long time away. But she was talking to me about the whole process, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so daunting. I'm doing a trip to Brazil at the end of the year for the photography and stuff. Wow. So it'll be.
How are you doing the photography? Is there a photographer there? You bringing one over? Or
no, I'm bringing a photographer from New York, Clay. He's amazing. He's coming to Seattle and doing an in-studio shoot, and then we're traveling to Brazil at the end of the year to the 5 regions of Brazil to like really capture like the scenery and things like that.
So you have a publisher?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's the publisher?
Artisan.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't wait. 2027. It'll be here before you know it.
I know. I'm like, I can't believe it's July already. 'Cause I thought I had so much time to write this manuscript. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's today.
Are you gonna make your deadline?
I am. I believe.
Oh, you're one of the few.
I believe so.
And I say this
It's
as a
been
reporter.
pushed.
Even we don't make deadlines.
It's been pushed. I have to be honest. I'm gonna make this second deadline.
Okay. Good.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Tan. It was so nice.
Yeah.
to chat
Thanks for
with
having
you.
me. And you're testing these recipes, and hey, bring me a Tupperware.
I know,
I'll
right?
eat some of this
Yes, absolutely.
Leftover.
I know you'll be a truther critic. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dishin Up Diaspora podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, again, make sure that you are subscribed wherever you're listening, and let's check us out next week.